Jarrod Kubrin here, Keller Williams Realty, and I want to talk to you about the recipe. So, real estate is more like baking than a stir fry. With a stir fry, you can add some sauce, make an adjustment, taste the recipe, and make adjustments on the fly. With baking, you have to have the right recipe ahead of time, because once you stick your whatever it is in the oven, you can't go in and add a little bit of baking soda or a dash more salt. What you've done is already there, and you're stuck with the results. So the way that real estate is like baking is that you have to have the right recipe before you stick it in the oven. And the right recipe is making sure that you sequence your processes in a way that is methodical, produces the best result, creates the least amount of stress, and so I just want to talk a little bit about that. So often I find that clients do things in reverse. They find a property, they fall in love with it, they scramble to get a realtor, they write an offer, and then they go to get a pre-approval letter from a lender. Okay? Totally not the way to do it. So the way to do it is to get pre-approved first, usually with one or two lenders, and get a rate quote, decide who you're going to work with, who you resonate with, who gives you the best service, and which gave you the best interest rate. Now, in order to compare interest rates, you have to get two rate quotes that were issued on the exact same day. The 30-year fixed as a loan has the most volatility in its interest rate every day. So if you get a rate quote from one lender on Tuesday and another rate quote from another lender on Thursday, you're not actually comparing apples to apples, even if it's the same type of loan. After you have your pre-approval letter in hand, and that gives you some comfort about what your purchase price is going to be, what your payments are going to be, are you comfortable with that, and what type of loan program is it? Is it a VA loan? Is it an FDA loan? There's a lot of different loan programs, conventional, private money. Once you know what that is, then you hire your realtor to show you properties that are in and around your price range. Now, a lot of times I find people who, they'll take their maximum qualifying rate and then they'll look at properties that are at that price point. So if you're qualified to $700,000 and all the properties that you're looking at are $675,000 to $700,000, there's a good likelihood that you're not going to have enough room in your qualifying rate to be able to compete for that home and to be able to bid up if that in fact happens on the particular property that you're interested in. So if you're qualified to $700,000, it's best to be looking in the $625,000 to $675,000 range max, so you still have a little wiggle room if you need to negotiate and compete to win. The next thing that I think is really important is understanding what the requirements are going to be from the lender. Are they going to need to see copies of a pest inspection? If it's FHA, are they going to be concerned about cracks in the stucco? So knowing what type of loan you have is going to also determine what kind of properties we look at. For example, if I know what kind of loan you have and you've given me a pre-approval letter from your lender, I might be able to say, oh, that's not the property for you because I know it's so rough that the floor in the bathroom is missing. That's not going to be lent upon with your loan. So the recipe, back to the recipe, is engage a couple lenders, get a couple rate quotes, decide who you're going to work with, get your pre-approval letter, get your realtor, start looking at properties. Because what I find is that people will start to look at properties sort of for inspiration. They find what they like, and then they're not prepared. And then that one gets away. And then what we do is we go look at properties, and they're constantly comparing it to the one that got away. So I'd rather not do that. I'd rather be very successful in the way that we approach your real estate purchase.